to bump into each other or talk to each other. And actually, this kind of stuff that we're doing here on the Music Mondays is actually, yeah, bringing us together, which is really cool. And I just wanted to say thank you again for taking the time.
No problem, man. It's an honor. Like we were chatting a little bit. Like you sent out a request, and I
Yeah.
was like, look who's contacting us because we were listening to our like your music already. Like when we started actually, like we were really inspired by you, and still like you're doing great. So it's funny like that we're now like on this occasion like talk this way. But I think like the clubs are opening soon. Everything is going back to normal. So hopefully we'll meet on the festival soon as well.
I hope so as well. And yeah, it's yeah, likewise. I've been playing all your music since you've actually done a lot of stuff on Xtone back then.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the first peak of your where you got that first hype? Was that via the Xtone stuff?
Yeah, that was part of it. Like I think it were like our kind of strategy in the beginning was at first we wanted to do like a lot of original songs because like when we started like when we entered the scene we were like, why is everybody doing remixes? Like just make your own music. Why should you remix all the time?
Yeah.
So we started doing our own songs, but it didn't get picked up at all. Like no one was listening to it. So then we started to like remix more and more, and that was kind of the way that to show the labels our sound and to get people familiar with our sound. So
Yeah.
I think we did like over 20 remixes a year, and one of these
Wow.
remixes was the remix of Icona Pop. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think like that remix really popped, and Chester was playing it out, and Guetta was playing it, and then of course the collaboration with Axwell, like I Am. I think these
What
two
a
things,
tune.
yeah, these two things were really like helping our career a lot. And then from that on, like we were #1 on Beatport, and then I think in the next month we were #1 again with a record on Revealed together with Danik, Blueprint. So we like in a half a year we had like 2 #1s, and I think from that point on like we started touring, and then people started calling to book us. So that was kind of the first beginning.
That's great, and that's
Yeah.
like that's a very interesting way of how to get into the business. So like, were these all like official remixes, or were they more like, oh, we're taking the acapella and doing a remix and throwing it out?
No, there were definitely official remixes, and by
Yeah.
then we had a great
On
manager,
spec.
like, but it was all on spec. So in the beginning, like when you start, there are some great producers that are already remixing this artist. So for instance, when you do David Guetta or Rihanna, like there were already great DJs doing it. And then when we started, our manager said like he was arranging those remixes. So then he said like, okay, you could do this remix, but I don't know if you will really get the official remix tag. So we'll have to see. We'll send your version, and then we'll see if it works out or not.
Like a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of the time it worked out. So then at the end we had so many remixes, and we were very happy to do them all. And in the beginning, completely for free, because we didn't know you could do that
For money as well.
For money.
Yeah, that's true. But you saw the big picture.
Yeah,
which
exactly,
is really important sometimes, and that's something that I'm telling a lot of people. You have to put in the effort, and it might not take off immediately, and sometimes you have to invest in order to get something popping.
Sure.
So sometimes at the beginning you just have to work and do stuff for free and do this and like just do and deliver as much as you can. But
Totally.
like you guys had, you had that lucky punch. Well, it was not a lucky punch, but it was just like your hard work paid off.
Yeah.
Your hard work paid off. You got played by a lot of people, and then the success came.
Yeah, that's what I always say as well to like aspiring DJs or producers, like because you like a lot of times they follow a lot of like big artists and they think everything is working out for them, but they never know. Like we try 10 things and maybe only 2 work out, but people see these 2 things, but we try 8 more things that don't work out. So you have to just keep on trying, and that's like people sometimes forget that they see our Instagram or they see whatever the successes we had, and then they're like, okay, it's all like easy for them. But no, a lot of stuff is not even happening, or we had a lot of collaboration not going through, or a lot of remixes turned down as well. So it's you have to do like just continue doing it, and then like something will pop out in once in a while.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And for a lot of what I also wanted to say, because I think a lot of your followers are watching now as well, and they probably think like, who the hell is Refine Production, and who is that guy who is talking? You know? So yeah, I'm Eddie Thonick. I'm the founder of Refine Production, and Refine Productions is actually something that I created like 1.5 years ago. Ray, you already know the story. You know, but in the end, during my shows, I always, you probably know that when you are on your shows, a lot of people come to you and ask you for advice, give you USB sticks. Well, they used to give me CDs, so so but they're all asking for that little bit of advice that can bring them a little bit of energy and positivity into a little bit of a highlight into their beginning of their career, you know? So, and I have been through the bad times and through the good times in my career. And I learned things the really, really hard way. So did you probably. Because at the beginning, when I first started out, I started in '93 actually. So, and then, you know, there were no such things as internet or all that kind of stuff. So everything went very analog, you know? So, but in the end, I said, you know, because of all these people asking for advice and asking me what kind of synthesizers I use, but on the other hand, seeing people being really frustrated, not reaching the people that they need to reach. Like it's more like a mindset kind of thing that they have been struggling with, not being able to strive for more, take the next step, don't give up and all that kind of stuff. You hear that all the time. Everybody's saying, don't give up, follow your dreams and here and that. That's easy said, you know, but actually putting that into reality is really, really hard. And that's something I was struggling with big time. And then I said, you know what, I've learned everything, and I'm going to share everything. So I'm going to get all the young kids who want the help, they can get in touch with us. And we are actually doing some sort of production tutorials, one-on-ones, mentorships and stuff, but also not forgetting the artist, because that's like the most important thing. You just don't want to get to a peak position for a little while. You want to stay there.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that is the hard work. That is where you have to put in the effort, find your balance in your life. And that's something where I'm going to guide the people to getting on a steady, balanced level next to the production
this is
skills.
exactly what we were also we're talking about today.
Yes. Yeah.
Like in the beginning, it's all like a big train ride. If you have that momentum in your career, and everything is popping, you have a Beatport #1 or a Spotify, I don't know, whatever big thing going on. The bookings are coming in. You're flying all around the world. It's a train that you're on, and it's pretty hard to jump off because the train is going so fast. And now that we're getting a little bit older, we can actually look at it on a different way. It's more like a helicopter view we have right now, that we're actually seeing ourselves sitting on that train, doing this ride, instead of being in the train where we were in the beginning of our career. Sometimes things were a little bit too heavy, flying from Japan to LA back and forward, and that was pretty tough. But
we didn't even know where the train was going. Kind of like we were on it, and we thought like, let's ride it. Like in the beginning, I just remember like going to the airports and someone was picking us up. Like I just followed the
where
sound.
Are we?
Sick individuals. I didn't even know where I was. I just sick individuals. Let's go. Once we even walked like to the car with the fan, because the fan was just holding the sick individual sign. I thought like, he's my driver, so let's follow. And then we were like at a certain point, like, where are we not going into the car? Like she was like, no, I just want to take a picture. I'm like, oh shit. I was just following the signs all the time. Like But now that's true what you said. Like now we're a bit more. We can see where we're going and where we want to go, and we saw a little bit more countries and a little bit more clubs, a little bit more festivals. Yeah. But of course, still hungry for a lot more, but a bit more, in touch with yourself in a way, like a bit more.
Super important.
Yeah, is this really what I want? Are these the nice people that I want to work with? In the beginning in the industry, you want to work with everybody, and now I see like with these people I want to work with, and maybe with these people like not so much. So yeah, that's these are things I think are important also for the to make you a lucky person.
To make you happy
person
in the end.
Yeah, well, I think that is absolutely true what you're saying, and also, but this is something that you need to learn. You know, this kind of this kind of bird's eye view on yourself is something that is super important. You have to step back and look at it, try to look at it out of a kind of objective perspective as well. Like, look what you're doing right now. Also, like the good and the bad things. You know, like looking probably at Ray saying, "Dude, do you know where we are going to play for the first time?" And I said, "Yeah, man, this is like unbelievable, a dream come true." You know, and then because that is the stuff that you've been working on all your career. You know, getting to that point. You know, but also what I'm saying is, and the struggle that a lot of people have, they are very frustrated because they can't reach their goal. You know, like they want to. So they have this kind of vision of themselves. I want to release on Xtone and I want to play Tomorrowland, and they just have that picture in their head, and they say, if I reach that, I'll be happy. Okay, now think about this. Don't you agree that it's more important following and being happy about every little step that you're doing towards getting there? Every day you learn something. You might fail here and there, but take it as a lesson that you're learning.
Yeah,
totally.
And I think that is super important,
especially when you're touring. At some point, because you're tired, you also go back a little bit, and you're busy with your phone, and while you're traveling. Sometimes you don't even notice where you are. So sometimes I said like, hey, bro, do you know where we are? Look around, you know, look how. So for instance, we were in Vietnam for the first time, and then I was saying like, okay, let's just put the phone down now and enjoy how happy everyone looks and how beautiful it is over here. Everything was so green and everyone was happy on their bikes, and that was
incredible.
That's a moment I can still remember. Maybe it was many years ago, but
did you had Fetty on the show, right?
Last week, yes.
Yeah. So I also have a nice memory with him, like when we started touring, or we met him for the first time in the studio in Breda.
Of course.
Yeah, he has a beautiful studio complex. Like, it's really, really awesome. Like, I think you've been there, right?
Yeah, I've been there.
With a tree inside and everything. So we were flabbergasted. We came in, we were like, wow, this is our dream studio. This is like, we are in a hard producer. So like, we were really like, that's our goal. And we were talking with him and super hyped, of course, to meet him for the first time. And we were super enthusiastic about our own brand, of course, and about what we were doing. And he said to us, like, remember, it doesn't get any more fun or anything. Like, if you get bigger, it's not that is more fun than now. And I was like, wow, it's like, why is he saying this? Like, but now I get it. Like, because he's super rich, he has everything. He played all the stages all over the world. He had a world record hit, like Put Your Hands Up for Detroit. So he did it all, and he says that, and I'm like, okay, that's a good thing to remember. And from that on, like, I totally agree with that. Like, if you remember me recording some saxophones on our student home. Like, and I didn't have a proper studio, mixing everything on our headphones.
It was just as fun.
It was just as fun. Yeah. So that's really a good thing to remember. Of course, now it's more. It's sometimes things are more easy, and some things are a bit more. You feel a bit more responsibility or anything. So
But I think that's a good thing to remember for everyone who's making music. That the moment that you're actually really enjoying yourself. You know, you're created something, and that's that magical moment where you think like, this is great. You're almost dancing in your own room.
Almost.
That is the magic. That is the magic moment. That is the magic moment.
Yeah. And that never. If you just keep getting those moments, and keep creating music that you really love to make, because then those moments will still come up. You know.
Sure.
As soon as we're creating, like right now, we're creating some housey stuff for the clubs that we're ready to
exactly.
and then when we're in the room, we're already like, I'm already like feeling like when I'm talking on the stage, you already like, today I drove my car to the studio. I played our new song in the car, and I was almost enjoying myself thinking about emceeing on stage. I was like, these are those magical moments where you really enjoy creating music. And I think you should always remember that it doesn't matter if you're 10 years ago or now.
Sure.
You have to focus on those kind of moments while making music.
We had like 3 people putting their hands up in like a small club in Holland. We were like, come on, it's amazing.
Yeah,
the best night. And now, like, of course, we play like bigger stages, but it's all really fun. So
yeah, that is, you have to take snapshots of these kind of things. And this is, it's actually, I told it to Ray as well. There's a quote that I posted the other day, which is saying, to empower yourself, you have to repeat the things you love over and over again. So, and I think that is something really important, you know, and what you just said is worth gold. And this is essential advice that everyone should write down and be aware about, because first and foremost, you're creating music for yourself.
Yeah.
If you are going in it for the wrong reason, creating a record just to follow the flavor of the month, the stuff that's good right now, you know, it won't lead you anywhere long term. So you have to try, you have to be connected to the stuff that you are doing. And if you are connected to the music that you're doing, and you get it signed, people will start liking it. People will start following you, and they will start following you because of the music. And people can tell if you're passionate about something, you know,
for sure.
Especially when you boys are on stage, you are doing it with all your heart.
Hell
you know?
yes.
Yeah. And people see that, and people can feel that, you know. And that is worth so much more. There's been, I know a lot of guys who are just saying, I can't stand this. I don't want to do this, like backstage. And they say, I just want to get it over with. I come 5 minutes before the show and I leave directly after the show. Goodbye. Yeah. Then I'm just like saying, well, to myself, dude, you're in it for the wrong reason. You know, it's just for the money.
It's also funny, like sometimes we get these comments, like on a festival, like if it's a huge festival in Holland and like we play the main stage, of course not all, like everybody's coming for us. So they come for like, a lot of other artists or whatever. But sometimes I get these comments from people that are not so much into our genre. They say like, I don't know about the music, but I love the performance, like because
love the energy.
I like to watch you guys loving it so much. So that's one of the comments I get a lot. Like it's like, not typical my genre, but I love the show because like we are enjoying ourselves, and I think that's already fun to watch and also fun for us, of course. And we are always together.
Always enjoy like the small moments. So in Holland, like like maybe after COVID, things will change for a couple of months. But if you keep it like, if you look at it a couple of years ago, then the crowd just enjoys the moment when the beat drops and then they start talking to each other again. You know, that kind of feel. But don't get me wrong, I really like playing in Holland, because if you get those people going, and they actually thought going to a festival, talking to each other and having a good time because they haven't seen each other for such a long time, and they enjoy the music. But it's a different kind of crowd than you would have in South Korea or in Tokyo.
Of course,
so,
of course.
But if you get that crowd going and they're really enjoying and they're, get their attention and everyone's having a good time, and then you get all these messages from everyone that they really had a good time, that's also, achievement, right? That's
for sure.
That's why we really like playing in Holland as well, because it's those small steps that you take, even during a set, that is very enjoyable.
Yeah, that's I couldn't agree more. And I know how the Dutch people party and how the scene is in Holland. So I'm half Dutch.
Oh, really? Are you?
Yeah, yes, my mom is from Venlo.
Kunnen we gewoon Nederlands praten ook?
Ja, we kunnen Nederlands praten, helemaal geen probleem. Ik kan het spreken. Hey, Dutch cake, hè?
Dat is heel raar, dat is heel grappig.
Yeah, but I can't. It's not my routine. So if I probably talk for 2 or 3 hours, then everything is cool. I actually talk to Adi and to Fede a lot in Dutch, and I also started writing emails in Dutch. And the good thing is, when I wrote those emails in Dutch, Dutch is a very weird language to read and to write, you know. So what they actually done, they've said, Fede said, guys, come here, we got an email from Eddie, you have to read that, you know. So and it's just like full of mistakes. It has been like wrong spellings and just like total wrong meanings and stuff. It's been always the highlight. So just a little bit
speech maybe.
Say what?
Try text to speech.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good idea. Well, that wasn't there back then.
Oh shit! Okay.
You know, so yeah. So you see, it's I really like where this is going, and I think that is very valuable stuff that you've been talking about. And it's what I wanted to know. How long have you guys known each other?
Well, we started SICK in 2009, and I think, yeah, maybe 2 years earlier. Yeah,
I think it was 17, 18. I'm
okay.
now 32.
Now he's old.
I'm old.
Yeah.
So yeah, 15 years ago. I think we met each other 15 years ago.
Yeah,
like around. Yeah,
so,
on art school, so on music school.
You both went to a musical school.
Yeah.
That's great.
We really connected on also on the friendship side, but like on the music side, we were really enjoying each other's music. So collaboration came up like very easily because we were working on school projects together. And then in the evenings after school, he wanted to have some fun, so we started creating some dance music.
Yeah.
And his DJ name was Chris Cabano.
No, and Leonard S.
Oh, and Leonard
DJ Seth. I had many names.
Oh, that's amazing.
My DJ name was House Kitchen.
House Kitchen, yeah.
A house kitchen.
Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting.
So yeah, we.
I think if you Skype with Ray, it's still House Kitchen.
Yeah, maybe it
yeah.
is.
Well, I mean, you could if you would change your name, you could also go Bassi and Adrian or something.
Well, yeah.
Definitely.
You know? Well, I mean, I started off with a very, very exciting DJ name. I was DJ Eddie.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, but they have the DJ Eddie in the mix. You know what I mean? So that has been stuff, but I stood out because there weren't a lot of DJs back then. You know, so that's a different story. So
you said like in '93 you started. You were already DJing.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
How old was I? 15.
Ah, really young though. Like we were a bit more. That's always we got a question a lot. Like, are you guys DJs or producers? Like more. And I think in the end we are more producers, but of course we love DJing and we love performing our own music. Yeah. But we actually started producing. So I think when you're 15, like we were already producing at 15. I think I was producing at my start at 12, with the Magic Music Maker and all these kind of programs. But DJing, I think we were quite late. I think we started DJing when we were 19 or something. Yeah. Like that. Yeah.
I actually really hated DJs in the beginning. You know, I was always playing in bands and singing, and I was into jazz, and I was working at like what's a poppodium? I don't know. What it is, but
poppodium.
Yeah, it's like a place where a lot of art comes out. So bands, rock, whatever. They all have their concerts there. A concert hall. That's where I was.
Yeah, from the neighborhood, like a concert hall from the neighborhood.
Yeah, like that's where I did my internship, and all the time when there was a DJ, I was like, yeah, whatever, man. Like you're gonna put your gear there, and everyone's gonna enjoy it. But I didn't like it at all. Like my cousin was a DJ in the beginning, and I always said like, well, I don't like it what you're doing. And then all of a sudden I met Jim on school, and we were creating that music, and then DJs like Chocolate Puma and Fede and you and I don't know, whatever, bingo players, those guys came up, and they were all busy with DJing, and then we went to our first festivals, and I was like, well, that's actually pretty cool. You know what's going on, and it's not
and then
not
you
about
say, you
the
know
art
what?
of
Yeah,
DJing.
yeah. But then you said, you know what? Let's fuck it. Let's just try it. You
Yeah,
know.
right.
So
Yeah, but also like the producing side was really nice. Like what we really like in dance music, you have so much freedom. So like he has a background in jazz and more classical background. I came more like from trance, and he was creating some hip hop, me
Yeah.
as well. But in the dance genre, we could mix everything together. Like if you still like if you hear I am, like there's guitar, there's piano, there are nice harmonies, nice emotional melodies going on, but also like a energetic drop and a big build up. So you can do so much in a dance song, and I think that's what we both really like. So we can still have that jazzy or that kind of like coolly moody feeling in the breakdown, but we can also have like that really fun moment in the drop.
that's key.
Yeah.
That is key, you know. And well, actually, I'm doing these mentorship programs on Refund where I do one-on-ones. But what I recently started was just like getting everyone I'm working together into one group. So because there have been so many people that have been facing the exact same problems, like not getting their vibes properly worked out, not finishing tracks because they are stuck in their little box, you know.
Yeah.
And then I said to myself, actually, a client brought me to that idea, where I came up to the idea when I said, you know what, I should all bring it together because each and every one of you has something that the other can't do and other way around. So,
Yeah.
and that's why I think, like you just said, you joined forces and started creating extraordinary music. Okay. So, and that is what I want the people to see. Making music on your own can be great. If you are an open-minded person and you're super creative and you can do your thing, that's absolutely great and it's good for you, but it's probably not for everyone. And at some point, it's always helpful to have someone sitting next to you saying, hey, you could also go into that direction. Why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? This is actually for all the people out there who are trying to find their sound. Find like-minded people. Get talking. Get connected. Collaborate with each other. Send each other music. Make groups where you can just like interact with each other, and that is something that can bring you one step further. You know. So
Yeah,
because
we still have that. Like we still have of course the bigger contacts like Hardwell or like these kind of guys, but also a lot of like smaller industry contacts that we share our music. Like if it's still a demo, I send it over to a lot of like even school friends from back then. Like when I met Ray, like even they're not maybe into our genre but doing hip hop. Like I still send them our demos to have get some feedback on it, and they do it vice versa as well. So we get a lot of like demos from them, and it inspires us like to do that. I think that's you should always work like that. Like don't be afraid to share it, or like we do a lot of like demo drop sessions, and it's sometimes
super.
the mix down is terrible, but there's such a great idea already inside, and then that's kind of like a positive thing. Like the record is now here, but the whole idea is already there, but the mix down maybe is not there yet. See it as a positive side. Like you can make a great record out of it. Like if you learn that part as well, it's an awesome record. So we always try to stimulate that way, and not think like I'm not like comparing it with the bigger guys. Like my mix down is not there yet. No, see it as an opportunity to make your record better and better and better, and just push yourself every time. Like we try to mix our record better every single time as well. Like if we must do the mastering process, we're like comparing it sometimes with our older records. Are like, okay, we need to step up our game again and again. And I think that's the fun of it.
And that's the same that I have as well. You can't imagine how much I've learned over the last, let's say, 2 years, not only by working on the different things that I'll tell you about it later, but more also from the aspect working with all these students. And because it's never the same approach. It's always different because each and every artist has a different kind of working and some different spark in there, you know. But I'm also choosing, and I'm absolutely bloody honest with the people, because I think that's the only road that you can take in order to bring them success. And that is something you can rather be a little bit tougher and honest than just saying, yeah, it's good, it's good, it's good. But then in the end, you say, oh my God, what a nightmare. That
No.
that doesn't bring you success, you know. It's just giving false hope, and that
Yeah,
is
I think I agree in that as well, because when we were doing art school, there were also some guys in our class that that we were thinking like, okay, this doesn't sound that good, and everyone was kind of agreeing on it, that it really needed some work and needed some help. This guy needed some guidance, and how do you create a chord, and what he was doing wasn't really yeah, in the right direction. So but the teacher was just saying like, well, yeah, it's kind of okay, but well, he got a 6 at the end. It's like,
Yeah, too
it's like
soft.
a C+ or whatever. It was
so.
okay.
So a 6 is very good.
Yeah, yeah,
No, but it,
you
like
know,
it was maybe too soft.
yeah,
But some
yeah,
others were kind of harsh though.
yeah,
And I was more liking the harsh guys, even to us sometimes. Like we of course produce everything. So when we had like a piano piece and it was just about the chords and just about the melodies and harmonies, like we did that. But then after like a minute, of course the beat dropped, and it was of course not in the assignment. Like the piano piece was the assignment. We combined the piano piece with a beat afterwards. But so that these are the things I think are funny, and if is not the assignment, they should not rate you for that. Like that was, I think, some did good, but some that there were too like, okay, yeah, you should, the art of like the freedom of art, blah blah blah. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's also like, do you want to create a record for the club? Okay, then you have to kind of like follow some rules, because
yeah,
otherwise, as like especially if you want that other people are gonna play it out loud, because if it's not on a certain level or blah blah blah, you have to like follow these kind of steps. Or if you're gonna do like a BPM of
that's
like
what we did.
172.5 BPM, I don't know if that's a good idea. Like, but we didn't know. We didn't know.
You know, we wanted to be creative, so that's what we did. We created a track of 127.65 or something. So, and then in the end, some DJs were trying to beat match, but they said,
And
yo,
also
those
slower and faster.
these tracks of you guys, you know, it's so hard to beat match. And they were like, yeah, but it's 126.65.
yeah.
So whatever.
And also these like your mix, right? It should be clean. Like, of course, because you're mixing, you don't want too much melodic information because you're mixing the tracks. But we were already thinking like, why are these in mixes and out mixes so boring? So let's crank them up a little bit and make some fun elements on it. So we were doing all melodies in the beginning and in the end as well. And then we got all the comments of other DJs like, I want to play your record, but like your in mix is terrible because it's going all over the place on top of my record that's already playing. Like, so like certain rules you have to follow. But I think there's still a lot of freedom in your stuff. And I agree with you that you have to be honest. But also like you have to see where the producer is standing in his career. So and also what kind of equipment he has. Like when we did the first collaboration with Axwell, he told us, guys, I like it a lot, but please buy a subwoofer right now because there's something terribly wrong in your sub frequencies. We didn't even have a subwoofer. We barely had the money to like. We were students back then, so like.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, maybe we should ask our parents or whatever, like, or work a little bit harder at the grocery store to buy a subwoofer. So that's what we did. And then he said, turn off your speakers, only listen on your subwoofer, only play your whole song only on the subwoofer, and maybe compare it with something good like Knife Party or his own tracks. And then we learned so much about like this little piece of equipment, the subwoofer, because it tells you so much about what's going on for the clubs, because we weren't playing in the clubs back then. And I think Axwell, that was the point in our career that was really nice that he said it that way. Like he was harsh, but also really
polite.
Gives us an opportunity. Like, hey, a solution. Like buy this subwoofer, you will find out yourself. It wasn't tell us like I'm the big guy, I know everything. Like you were doing shit on your subs. He was just like, buy this piece of equipment and you will see. And then we learned a lot from that little advice. So I think that's the right way to approach and to learn like new producers, new tricks and stuff.
That's actually what a role model looks like.
Yeah.
You know, he can give amazing advice, and I can, now that you're talking about the collaborations that you've been doing with him, I had this one record. That was actually the first record. For me, it was probably also like a lot of people out there. My goal is to release on Xtone. Okay. I've done 4 records on Xtone, and the first one that I've done was Solar. Okay, Solar was a
Yeah.
record that I've done. You probably
Yeah.
remember that. So in the end, it turned out as a Dennis Koyo edit. So that I think was the track that sucked the most energy out of my life. And I think also that was the track where I threw a keyboard out of the window because that actually really happened. So I was just like so getting into the motions because, you have this, like you said at the beginning, you have the great idea. Everything is rock solid from the vibe that you're having, but you
Yeah.
can't fix the mix. You can't fix the structure. And I've been sending that raw idea to Axel, and he said, hey man, I absolutely love it. Let's do it. That's how he replied. Just one sentence, just one line. I love it. Let's do it. Okay. And then I was just like, you know how it feels if you get your first record signed,
of course.
or Axel wants a record of you. So I was just like jumping around like a little kid. And then he was just like saying a small thing, the mix needs work.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I started working, sending him new versions. No, you have to work on this, you have to work on that. And well, now that I think about it, he has been very, very patient.
Yeah.
Because
right.
I actually had, when I got back into the project files, I had 49 different project files.
Wow.
And even the 49th project file, it actually said Edithonic Solar stems. So, and why did it say stems? Because I was unable to finalize the record. So I was thinking about, so either way, I'm going to bin the track and not release it, or I'm asking someone on board to help me finish it. And that broke my heart because I said I put so much energy in this, and this I was really attached to that song.
Yeah.
But then I talked to my friend Dennis Koyu, who lives like 10 minutes away. And I sent it to him, and he said, dude, that is an amazing record, but it sounds like shit. I said, well, thank you very much. Axel said the same. So he said, we can do it as a collab. I said, oh man, it's my first X-Tone record, and I need my name on there alone. So so then we ended up with Dennis Koyu edit on it, which is absolutely fine. And he smashed it. And then I went to his studio and took a listen to it. He gave me a little walkthrough about the things that he has changed. And that has been a couple of years ago. And it's been like I said, oh my God, how could I have missed this? But only with that walkthrough, I got all the equipment that he used. And you know that Dennis is Professor Shit. Okay, so he knows.
I know, like we know Dennis already for like how long? Like we were with Kai Horstman. You know him?
Yeah. He you know what? Go on with your story first.
Oh yeah, so like we met him. I was just mentioning his name because we were with Dennis like in the Ministry of Sound, like when we just actually started with Fetty, touring with Fetty and stuff. And he is like the professor, so like, and he's super friendly and always he learns a lot to us, to Nicky, to a lot of DJs. Like he's really open-minded in a way of like sharing his knowledge, and
he's all about the metering.
He's all about the metering. Like it's funny, like we never look at any meters, and he does a lot. And it's always funny, like, because we do so much wrong, I think, in our mixes, but it sounds like we think, like, I think it sounds good. But we work in a completely different way. And like we always say, he works the German way, like really clean and precise. And we work a bit of like, like if we take out too much low end of all our sounds, it in our music, it doesn't work so much because the feeling goes away a little bit. So we never do like a cut of, like straight up, like dip of like 42 dB, but we should round it a little bit.
Okay, so no brick wall.
No brick wall. So that's all these kind of things. Like we have a slightly different approach, but with his music it works really well. Yeah. But with our music, we have a bit more guitar, and guitar is not on itself. It's not so clean because we recorded ourselves, so there are some sounds coming with it. We record a lot of vocals. There's a piano next to us. Like we record a lot of piano. with maybe sometimes with our iPhone, like the Only For You record together with is recorded. The first part is on the iPhone recorded, and then we recorded the second part with the proper microphones. But they're all like random stuff going on, and we kind of like that. But like with his records, it's super clean, super tight. The metering is on point, and I think we took a lot of that knowledge and used it in our advantage. And I think he likes, like, because we are friends, like he likes our way as well. So
well, actually, Dennis Koyu tried to mix one of our records once, and we sent the stems, and we got a call back like, well, there's just no way I can get the mix the way you guys wanted to have that way, because we have, like Jim is saying, such a different way of working with sounds.
Yes.
So we leave a lot of low end, we leave a lot of things in there, so it messes with each other without breaking up the mix too much. And as soon as you start cleaning up everything the Dennis Koyu way,
it loses,
it just loses touch, and you hear everything sepathing. So it really depends on what kind of track you're creating, and if
what you put in there,
and
what you put in there. Like he does everything so well. Like he doesn't even use so many tracks. Like we do a lot of layering, and we have everything on top of each other. And he's like, but that's what you already said. You work now with a lot of aspiring producers, and everybody has their own touch and their own qualities. And I think Dennis Koyu is an awesome mixer, and it works the best, especially for his music and also for the way he's working. And we have our own strategy and way we work. Like sometimes we put some piano in there, you don't even hear it, because we like the frequency, so we put it underneath, and you're not even hearing that piano. So that's kind of like stuff we do. So
it's absolutely beautiful what you're saying. This is great, and I think there are two sorts of producers where I think either way, you're one like Dennis, who just put his professor glasses on and said, okay, let's take that little frequency and give it another day of work, you know. So you can either way do this kind of stuff, or you say, you know, I'm more of the guy who wants to get his inspiration out. So, and I'm like more a fan, and that's what I'm preaching to the people that I work with. First and foremost, get inspired. Get your ideas out. You can work on the mix later. I can teach you how to mix yourself, how to change the sounds and stuff like that. But first and foremost, you can't, the most important thing is getting your idea out there. That is key, because your whole track will live off the idea, you know? So I always say, you know, to get the juices flowing, simply take one of your most favorite tracks at the moment, just take that drum loop. Who gives a shit? Just take that drum loop, sample that thing, put it in your track completely, and just do your thing to it, add your little bits and pieces, finish the rough arrangement, get your ideas out there. In the end, when you've got your idea down, nothing can take that away from you. But then you can start changing the stuff that copyright infringed, you know. So that's something that you might still end up with taking a small cut out of that, because that's what dance music has been all about. It's been sampling, stealing, copying, and all that stuff. That's how it all started. Anyway,
like, we are super guilty on that. Like we do a lot of sampling. Like at your charge. Yeah. Like
so you see, fantastic. So
if you maybe. Once maybe we should invite Chocolate Puma into our studio. they will be amazed at the amount of sampling we did on their tracks.
They will go like, verdomme jongens, wat hebben jullie nou gedaan?
Wat hebben jullie nou gedaan?
So what the fuck have you guys done? That's what I just said in Dutch. So at least I've tried. But anyway, these boys are amazing as well. So
we are big fans, and the way
history. They've done Dutch history.
Yeah,
you know?
But also the way, like we just talked about, like you can do like the professor mode, or you can do it a bit more freely. I think they're also an example of like putting that bass a bit maybe too hard, or like doing a frequency like curve that you're like, this is not really technical, but it sounds amazing. So
nobody gives a shit about how it came to life, you know. The most important thing is that the result is counting. It's a little bit also like the stuff that you're wearing. Who gives a fuck about the stuff that you're wearing, as long as you deliver incredible
Yeah.
performances, you know. So
True.
I think that's the most important thing,
Yeah.
you
No,
know. And I can I think that a lot of people watching can relate to the stuff that we are talking about. So I just want the people to know that we are not different than you. We are actually having the same problems. We had the same problems back then. We had the same struggles. We fought the same fight that you are fighting. We just
Yeah.
have been very steady at what we've been doing and
Yeah,
didn't give
true.
up, you know. So and still today we are facing problems, and not everything is sunshine on the road to success, you know.
You know, the
So
thing is, like, the only guys that don't have problems with mixing down their tracks is the ones that have put so much energy in one kind of particular track, and they
yes,
use all the parts again,
yeah,
and only change the notes, and
yeah,
then they have no problem mixing it again. But if you keep on changing and if you have enough, you know, fun with creating music, like we are still struggling with our mix every time.
Yeah.
Of course, we gained a lot of great samples, and the way we work really helped us out, that we're more confident in what we're doing. But we're still struggling. Like right now, we've just finished a song and I'm driving in my car listening to it, and I'm like, I still have to change this and that, and then we have to change it again. And sometimes we're still with our hands in our head, like, how are we not getting this done, you know? And so it doesn't
yeah,
matter what level you are in or what kind of room you are in, even if you have the most expensive studio. Well, don't get me wrong, in the beginning that Fedde Le Grand had his fantastic studio. After a month, he put two KRKs on top of his desk and started mixing on those speakers again, when he was like having speakers of, I don't know
I
how,
know,
100,000 or whatever in his wall.
yeah,
So it doesn't matter what kind of gear you have, but we're all still struggling in while we're being creative in
okay,
what kind of mix we want to. Eventually, it's you want to have that great mix, and there's some
But
struggles
also,
with that.
yeah, but also the mix should work. Like
Yeah.
I remember when die Valentino gast, weet je wel? Deep Down Low. You know that record, right? Deep Down
Valentino
Low.
Kai or something.
Valentino,
Yeah, what's his name?
you know him? Like the guy, like he was putting out this record like super distorted.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this is not really how it should be done.
yeah,
But then we're I think we were going in Miami to that 11 club, and someone was playing it out, and we're like, wow, this is. Everybody was like, wow, this
that's
is
the shit.
amazing.
That's the
Like
shit.
it's
Yeah,
something different.
yeah,
And that's the stuff like you
Yeah.
should have balls to just put it out and
yeah. True, true, true. I mean,
And I
he's
think a lot of young producers are still going into the rules of mixing, where they're cutting off low ends in the way they've seen another DJ doing it, but just use your ears in that way and think if it sounds good or if it feels good is maybe even a better thing. Then just keep it that way and don't do the exactly professor stuff until you really know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just cutting off all the feelings in your.
and
yeah,
also
not
one
yeah,
little tip I can give to the people watching, like what we started when we started like on school, like they learned us always mix minus 6 dB.
true.
In
That's
our
what I'm saying as
career,
well.
yeah, that's what you're saying as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
minus
like
six, minus
we
six.
like you are preaching like what you just said, like, but we are preaching the opposite. We are preaching mix plus 6 dB.
Oh, that's great. Well,
Because like
okay.
I will
Go.
tell you why.
Yeah,
Because
go.
we like when we start up a project on our master, it's already plus 6 dB. Like there's a limiter, of course, and there's like a SSL compressor, and there's a gain plus 6 dB before the compressor. And every sample we throw in, of course, it will be gained 6 dB in our project. So we, of course, we have to. All the faders are a little bit down in our project, otherwise everything is clipping. So, but what you will get is that your mix is extremely loud, and then you have to really be selective in the samples you use, because if you put it like a random sound in, but your mix is already very loud, it will not come through. So you have to be really picky in which kind of samples you take, because only the best ones will, like the best claps will stay on your kick, or only the best hi-hats will punch through your mix, or the best synths. So you're really picky on all these sounds, and then maybe in the end it's a little bit distorted, but it's super loud, and you only choose the best stuff. You're not throwing too much in. And then what we do, like we lower this +6 to the +4 or maybe the +3, and then you listen again, and you have a super clean mix because all your samples are chosen right, and also the synthesizer. Like for instance, if you most of the time your problems in your mix are the regions where it distorts the most. So if you put like a super loud kick and a loud bass line and it's distorting, you will get triggered to take away that heavy distortion by EQing, by mixing. And so we try to do our best, like with the +6 dB mix, and we try to make it as good as possible. And when we finish it, we take it whatever 2 dB down or 3 dB down, or sometimes the whole 6 dB down if it's a really, really loud one.
Yeah.
And then it sounds super clean, but we still have some headroom for the mastering. So maybe then we master it and it's +1 dB again. Yeah. So the advantage is you're really picky on your sounds. You get triggered to EQ the right way, and your loudness level is already on point because we are like when we are into the project, it's even louder than what's on Spotify or played on the club because we're almost on that distorted level. And then in the end we take it down a notch. So that's kind of like our way of mixing, and we struggled so long with this. And when we found out, like for us, this is the way we work, and that's the way we always worked, and that's kind of like our golden secrets. Like,
because you just choose to write samples that way, because some samples will just start to distort as soon as they're too loud. And then if that's our experience when we are mixing -6 dB, you can throw in everything you want, and then if you put it up, you're like, oh shit, I need to take out this and take out that.
We had it a lot. Like we were mixing -6 dB, and the music sounded great. Like we're like, okay, this is an awesome mix. It should be 6 dB louder. But then we push it up 6 dB, the whole mix changes because of course like the compressor movements all change.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, so that's why we're like, we can never get it on this level. And I think still like today as well, like we do some ghost projects as well, and some music for TV commercials, and then sometimes we forget about it because we start playing guitar and there's not like a punch master on it, and then we try to get it as loud. It's super hard.
Yeah.
Then we're like, have to mix it all again. So that's why we better start loud and then take it down a little bit and master it again. That's the way for us. Yeah.
Super interesting. That's just, like we said before, it doesn't matter how you get there. The most important thing is that you get there, So I'm like more of the opposite kind of thing. So I start working quite smooth and trying to get, I'm trying not to put anything on the master chain until the track is completely done. Because I wanted to
only
again,
of course.
Yeah. That's but that's it then, So because I feel it also depends on what VSTs you use or what plugins you use, So because there's a lot of tools that compress and saturate at the same time, and then some do multiband and parallel compression and all that kind of stuff. So it all depends on what road you're taking with the mastering kind of thing and the master chains, and so that's another story, and I think that's where we can go on for hours about this this nerdy little bits and pieces. But this is great advice, and it's great to take a sneak peek into how you actually get that sound so boomy and stand out, and from the loudness as well. And I just want to say that for everyone who's watching and has just tuned in, so we are here with the Dutch boys, Sick Individuals, here on Refine Productions, and we are going into you see, Ray, what did I tell you? The hour will fly by like nothing. 4 more minutes, Eddie. We have 4 more. We can go further, of course. But what I want to do is I want to give you guys a chance to ask us questions down below. Just put them into the comments, and then we'll try and answer as many questions as possible. And so that's what we're going to do. I was curious about something. Jim, I heard you're really good at how do you call it, you are doing this thing together with Ray, where you just have to check out what song you are actually.
Oh,
I
it was
just
so
saw that.
funny.
I
Like,
said, "What the hell is that?" And I know that you're. It seems like you're not really good at it because Ray never gets what you're doing.
no, it's true. Like that's of course like one of my downsides. Like I'm not a good singer and not a good as well. But it was
How do you call it? Ming?
I don't know, like
Humming, right?
humming. Yeah,
Humming.
nearly. Yeah,
Yeah.
humming.
Jim Hummingbird. No, we call you Joop Hummingbird Smele. You know?
It was funny, like, but like our team was making these little games for us, and I think it turned out because he did the opposite for me as well.
Yeah.
But it was so easy for me to guess the songs because he's a great singer. So,
Yeah.
but I think the content on Instagram is way more funny when I do it because you don't.
I never get it right, so it's
He doesn't get it right, and if he says something, I get it like immediately. So it's
Yeah.
pretty boring.
Yeah, well, that's great. It actually put a smile on my face, and it's also really cool the content that you're publishing on your socials. It's interesting, you know, and I think that is something next to all the music production things. It's unfortunately socials got so important for everything. So it's not only the music that can do the talking.
True.
It depends on what musical genre you're in. If you're in the house music genre, it's a different story, you know. But if you're like on the big stage, EDM, big room level, then you have to really, show your skill, you know, and show a little bit of content that is really important. Is that something you love doing, or is that, of course, you love doing it? You love doing it, of course.
We have it's a funny subject though because of course we are with two. So like the whole day we're doing stuff, and sometimes we are here in the studio, and of course most of the time we're here working on our music. But of course we have also our private lives and everything. So how much do you share? Like, am I constantly like sharing my private life, or does he? Because we have one account, of course, and we were two guys. So that's also a thing. Like maybe that's why we share a little bit less even.
Yeah.
Because like I'm like I'm doing a lot of stuff, but he's also doing a lot of stuff. So we share more music related content. And of course we did the little like game stuff, and we got a lot of funny reactions doing that. And that's one of the advantages. Like Sick Individuals is us, of course, but we have a great like
showing our personal side through these games or through our social media, doing fun things. We have a ton more of these kind of funny ideas.
Funny coming up,
but we also want to keep it true and close to ourselves. And we thought about it. Am I showing my cats at home all the stories on Sick Individuals? And is Jim showing his girlfriend while she's making a meal? No.
Is he showing his girlfriend while she's?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
No, but that's the question. Like, if you're a single DJ, then yes. We always say, like, when we are entering a country and we go to the hotel and we're like, look at this, where are we? We're just celebrating and having fun. Where the single DJs are instantly tweeting and Instagramming and wherever they are, showing the nice room, and we're just sharing it with each other and having
Super
a good
cool.
time.
Yeah.
So that's also like one account, two DJs, and whatever we are showing the personal side through our social media. Fun times, I think.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and that's why also we bought like the building we are in right now. Like there are like offices upstairs from our management and everything, but also two studios. Mine is next to.
Really.
And then like with this kind of like our house, so like it was always like, are you coming to my house to produce music? Am I going to his house to produce music? Now this is both our house. Like this is both our money in this building. So we have to these kind of things. Like they're a little bit different with a duo, I think, than if you're a single DJ.
Yeah.
So but and also with that, like we have a great team. Like visually, like we have a guy that is already working with us like for many years, and he's doing our live visuals as well. And he kind of comes up with these little ideas to get us in a room and then ask us like funny questions or let us like taste
Super
food
good,
or
super good.
grab food.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's really responsive. Like yeah, getting in touch also with yeah, with other visual artists and throwing in ideas or music videos.
Yeah.
So we try to do everything ourselves, and yeah, we try to keep it also related to music always.
I
That's
think super cool, super cool. And I think I can really tell that you built yourself a huge playground right there, you know? So
yeah.
I think there's not one day where you say, shit, I don't want to go to the office. I hate it. You know, I don't want to go there
Really?
anymore. You know, so
Yeah.
there's probably some days in between where you're not feeling like absolutely motivated to do it. But I mean, if you are in there with the guys, and it someone always brings fresh air into
True.
your
Yeah.
business, and
True.
that is key. You always need fresh inspiration. You need
Yeah.
new opportunities and things like that. You have to people that share your vision with you and people
True.
that support you, also like family. I think at the beginning when you first started out, your parents said, let him do it, it will be over in half a year, you know. Probably something like that. But that was for me with the turntables. My mom said, you're not going to buy those Technic turntables, which I still own, by the way. So she said to my father, well, come on, let's get them for him. He will forget about it in 1 year. And then it's just got the biggest passion of me. And look at you guys, you know, you went from nothing to something absolutely stunning, you know. And it's not only Ray and I, we talked about, it's not only, like I said before, sunshine, you know, there's ups and downs in this business as well. Yeah, but it's just good if you are surrounded, coming back to the essence where I was at. So if you surround yourself with the right people, it just gives so much. It's empowering. It's empowering, and it gives you beautiful energy, and it gives you motivation to strive for more.
Yeah, you know, we always enjoy coming here, and even sometimes when Friday, it's Friday, and normally we're of course touring in the weekends, but now because of the whole COVID situation, we have our weekends off. But sometimes everyone is leaving on Friday, and I still have some couple of hours to spend here, and I was like, well, nice, you
Yeah.
know, yeah,
Oh,
it's a fantastic room where we can, you know, this place is just great.
Like that was with the Corona situation. Like we were like, oh, I'm so happy we have this here. Like we can, because that was kind of our dream, like to have our own like place. And like for instance, like now Ray bought a new guitar, like a super expensive guitar. Maybe we will never use it in our production, maybe we will, but it doesn't matter. It's just like something we really love buying. And it's also like we bought the studios first before we even spend our money on homes and stuff.
Cars.
So,
really?
cars. So yeah. Like we had this building, we bought this building first, and then I bought my home. So that's always like said enough. I think like it's most important to have like a really great place to hang out. And we were always like, when we really started, we had like these buildings that we were getting kicked out of in like a couple of months, like
because the music was so great.
No, yeah, kind of, maybe that's also the reason. But like in the end, you're changing rooms, and you're changing the acoustics in your room as well, and you have to adapt to that every time. So at a certain point, we thought like, okay, we don't want it anymore. We want to really have our own studio and invest in it. And I think it was a big decision, but the best decision as well.
Yeah. I already love you because we're sharing the same speakers.
Good.
So we are all having So these are absolutely amazing speakers. So I think, as you guys can tell, we could go on for hours and hours. So I'm just going to jump into I'm just looking. Oh my God, how many questions are there? Let me just jump into the questions, just picking some random stuff right here. There's a question from Rapture 005. How to improve writing melodies as a beginner? Any advice?
I have a little tip I can give. But that's more like a trick you can use if you don't have inspiration. But maybe you also answer your question. Like if you love a certain song. So for instance, I love Coldplay a lot. So then I play a track of them and I copy the chords. Maybe you can even look it up on internet, but also maybe you can hear it and play it again. So you play the same harmony, but not the same melody. And then you just mute the record and you have this chord progression going on. And but you're still in that mood.
Leave the humming to Ray then.
Maybe I should, and then or maybe program it, but program something in the right, the same feeling of that song you really love, and then maybe whatever, take a coffee or take some water, and then take out the chord progression that was underneath before, and just listen to your melody, and write a new chord progression underneath that melody that really works. Maybe you will see sometimes you come up with a different chord progression that works even better with the melody you just wrote on that original Coldplay harmony structure.
Yeah.
And then you probably will end up with kind of like a sound alike. It sometimes, or like a track that build it into a more poppy dance record, some that we build it into like a heavy one. And so I think that's the kind of like a trick maybe you can use if I use it as if I'm out of inspiration, but you can also use it to improve your melodies maybe. And if you can whistle melodies, I think it's a good sign. If you don't take too big steps in your melody, some people go right, like they go from they go 7, or they go like up 5. Like most of the time, if you have your ground chord, can you say that like that?
Yeah.
So if you have a C, for instance, like E to G in that range, the feeling is a lot of the time. So a third up till a fifth up.
Yeah.
So these are kind of like little tricks you can use. Yeah. Maybe
just make sure you keep the melody.
yeah, but I mean that's a melody that everybody knows, no?
Yeah, that's true.
So I think added to that, keep it simple. It's really important.
Yeah.
You know, don't go too complicated, because that is something people love. Simple stuff. You know, there you go. That's in everybody's head. You know, just you know. So that's a good thing, and that's also why Coldplay are so successful, because they are unbelievable. And it's how do I get my music heard? I'm very curious how you are going to answer that.
If you're starting, I would try to collab as much as you can with artists that are also starting. If you do not want to do that, then I would start to find labels and maybe forums or platforms where you can release your music. And of course, you're looking at a big label as Spin-In, Armada, Revealed, X-Stone. But in the beginning, it would be fantastic. And of course, dreaming is great.
And send it. But
you can send it, and maybe you're lucky. But go down a couple of steps and find a label where you think, oh, this music is actually pretty good. But they haven't that much followers, but they're gaining trust and following, and they're getting there. And just send your music to that label, start to release over there. You will get noticed because you're finally finishing songs while releasing. And a lot of guys are not finished over and over and over, and it's never finished. The music is never good. The mix is never done. So if you are going a couple steps down, you're ready to release on a certain label, you get your music done, and you can go up the ladder every step up.
And also, like some labels, like when we, like that's kind of like our advice, but also our own story. Because we were starting with releasing on One Love. I don't know if you know the label. It's an Australian label. They were not really responding to us. But if it goes through like a One Love, and they might just check that out, because it's kind of like the label of One Love is on top of it, and they're like, oh, I like One Love, or I like, they have quality stuff most of the time. Maybe it's even more a niche, but some bigger DJs are even liking the not super famous records because they can release or show the world.
If you want to work your way up in the music industry and you feel like you are not connected at all, and you have the chance to, yeah, well, now the time will come where you can go back to meeting people. You need to go to ADE in Amsterdam Dance Event in all of a sudden your favorite artistic individuals is just walking past you. You know, there's a reason why they are there. They are there for getting connected and making music. And I can promise you that 99.9% of all the people are happy if you stop them. You know, if you stop them, say, hey, just like a big admirer of your work, would you mind if you can listen to something or something like that? You know, just go away. You know, so that normally not the case. There might be exceptions, but the people who go to ADE are mostly there to make business. And making business in Amsterdam, it's for the people as well. Established artists, beginners, intermediate people. So that is one thing that I can just preach you. Please go to those events. Winter Music Conference, okay, that's more like a getting hangovers every day and partying and
Also
stuff.
good.
Yeah, but it's also good. You know, it's not like it used to be, but it's also great. There's so I think Amsterdam Dance Event is one of the most important ones if you want to get connected. Plus, you will find a lot of like-minded people that are at this exact same stage where you are. And what I wanted to say, collaborating, great, do it, but also try to collaborate with people that are already one step ahead. You know, because you can just hang your way up to that thing, the ladder. You know, so if you, so that is something that I just wanted to add to.
Finding the right people with the same kind of passion.
Yeah, that's true.
That's great.
There's also different things. It depends if you are a person for that, but there's a lot of very, very good and popular Facebook groups where you can just ask for permission to get in there. It's like probably don't go into the ones where they are like absolutely overrammed, because you will just drown there, you know. So, but you see, bass room music. So you got your. I saw your other question that you sent, but this is actually answered now. So I think that's a very, very good reply to everything. So I think we are ready to go. We're just like already a little. We'll definitely do that again. I would love to, and I enjoyed every second with you guys. And I also want to say thank you for taking the time to joining us tonight and spreading a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of insights about how you approach things, about your life. I think that's invaluable knowledge for a lot of people out there.
Good. Good. I really thank
Finally meet.
finally meet and also,
Yeah.
and also chat like about the
Yeah.
industry and like like what you said, like if someone bumps into us and they have some questions, I always try to answer everything as good as possible. But it's always good to know that it's an opinion or a meaning or a way they worked. So in the end, there's always your own way, and that's what you should just be. Or like original is really like an open door. But like I want to add like one more thing. Like when we just started, we asked bingo players to remix our song, and they were already super big, and we were super small. But we just that way we send our track to a different email to the management, like, hey, can we have a remix request? What is it? Does it cost to get our track remixed by bingo players?
Yeah.
And that was a way that we're not getting into the promo folder where all the other DJs were into. No, we were getting to a different email address. And that manager said, like, guys, what do you think? Like, you guys are super small and bingo players are used. They're never gonna remix your song, but actually your track is quite good. Like, maybe you can do a remix for like Frankie Rizzardo, was it back then? So you can remix this record. So that's kind of like a way we got into like contact with some music industry people, and I think it's an original approach, and I think that's I just wanted to add that, like, just be a bit don't follow,
Be creative.
Yeah, be creative. I hate that.
Yeah,
But don't follow the stuff that everybody's already doing. Like sometimes like just try something and maybe what I already
any different than I am. And, you know, just be bold and say, you know, I'm just going to say hi. And I can tell you, this empowers you a lot. You know, this gives you such a good motivation and such an incredible passion for creating more music and drive in the studio than anything else. Okay, well, boys, thank you so much for everything. And I'm really happy that we are on what's it called? iTunes. Sometime. So guys, thank you so much for everything, and we'll keep in touch.
definitely.
Yeah? Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Groetjes. Oh yeah. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.